Hey everybody, this is Larry, this is me going with Q3, getting the biggest rhombus sums in a grid, even though if you watch me on the video, I complain that this is more like a diamond or something, because all the links are the same, it's still a square, it's just rotated. But in any case, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me on Discord, let me know what you think about this problem, which is Q3 on the bi-weekly contest 53. I actually really messed up on this one, I got stuck on a solution. I got stuck on an idea of a solution and I implemented it, but I actually didn't need to do it that way. I had another way of doing it, but then for some reason I just dismissed it during the contest, which happens from time to time. I guess I was just a little bit, I was just a little bit, whatchamacallit? Yeah, I was just a little bit, I don't know, off today, maybe need more sleep or something like that. I think, now that I think about it, I should have done this really much quicker. But I think I just did it the hard way. And yeah. So the reason why I took a little bit hesitating is because I had to bring up the paintbrush for y'all. But the idea is that, okay, let's say you have a grid, it has some lines and stuff like that. So there are actually two ways of doing, or three ways. So the third way is apparently, and maybe this gets failed later on, but n to the fourth is fast enough in Java, is what someone tells me in my Discord. So I don't know if that works, and I'm not going to go over that because that is just, you can write for loops. I don't have to tell you how to write for loops. But you should still practice, because why not? I don't know why I made a grid with so many boxes. Okay. Now they're going to get fatter at the end. But basically the idea is that, okay, and this maybe is obvious to you, which is that for this particular problem, let me change the color. You could think about it as getting, just these four lines, right? And of course, and now that I think about it, this is the solution that I would recommend. But I didn't do that because I don't know. That's why it took me, like during the contest, it took me about an hour, which is really long for me, as you know, or at least for this Q3, because I just, the way that I did it, and I'm going to explain the way that I did it, which may apply for a harder problem, but for this problem was not necessary, and I kind of did it in a stupid way. So basically, yeah. And if you look at this this square, there are four components, right? There's four lines, so there's four components. So what you can do is that, you pre-calculate all the prefix sums before. So what that means is, or just not, just the sums before, right? Because instead of, so you literally try for each box, and there's only n times m number of boxes, which is 100, and the max size of the number of rhombus is just max of or min of n or m. So it's roughly speaking, if you really want to be roughly hand wavy, it's going to be n cubed, and that's going to be fast enough. And the idea here in the solution is that for each, instead of looking at a square this way, and maybe you can do it later, for each box, let's say we look at this box here, we pre-calculate, okay, this diagonal one at a time, right? We go up, we calculate this diagonal one at a time, we calculate this diagonal one at a time, and so forth. And if you do this one at a time, like we said, all this pre-calculation will be in n cubed time, and that's basically the idea. And then you just, using this thing, you have to be careful, but you can construct, for example, if you want to get, this box, you just have to take, this line, the line that we already kind of look at. We just have to take this line, and then some other pre-calculation from previous before. So yeah, so that's gonna basically be the idea, really. But I did not think about this during the contest. I did it another way, which is unnecessary, but that's what I did. And I think I've seen some other, some solutions here, and just to kind of go over someone else's solution real quick. So basically here I think that's how they do the diagonal. Is there are 4 diagonals for each one. We started at the number, and then we just kind of we just have 4 for loops for each of those diagonals. We kind of expand it one by one, and that's basically the idea. That's basically the idea here, and that's pretty much this does all the pre-processing, and then later, as we said, for each cell we tried it for each size. Whoops, what did I click on? For each size, and there's some maps to make sure that doesn't go out of bounds, but basically it looks at all the diagonals and then it sums it up and so forth. And then at the end, you just get the minimum 3 or the max 3 actually. And that's basically that solution, right? Just pre-processing and then kind of keeping track in a good way. The way that I did it, however, was a lot more confusing. Let's bring back that paintbrush, which it actually might come in handy for a harder problem, but I wasn't doing it. So there are 2 observations for my solution, which is way too, I would say, an overkill. So basically, the first observation is that if you look at this like a chessboard, or the quote unquote every alternate box. Whoops. Like all the boxes don't. Oops. Okay, I had some. But you could imagine a chessboard or checkerboard or whatever. Basically, all the black answers will not affect the right answers and so forth. So you have 2 answers, right? So what I did was that I took this, I took the black board, I took the white board, and then I rotated it into a square board. And then now mistakes were made. Hang on. So now what happens is me drawing very slowly, trying to figure out the colors. Okay. So now let's say you have an n by m box. Okay. I am drawing too many lines again. So basically my idea is just prefix area sums. These lines aren't even straight. I wish they'd just give me a grid. But basically my idea is that sorry, too much drawing. Let's say we're trying to figure out this box, right? Okay, this is uneven, but let's pretend that they have equal length just for the purpose of this. So basically, this is just a prefix area. If you want to calculate the sum of this perimeter, it is just equal to, and this is a terrible color. I need to choose a brighter color. This is just equal to the prefix sum of, oh, I guess I could use a square for this. This is just the prefix sum of this minus the prefix sum of this minus the prefix sum of this plus the prefix sum of this. And and this is I'm not going to go into detail of how this comes, but this actually is like this will come up in other problems, so you see it's just a prefix area. Basically the idea is, and I messed this up actually. But the idea is the same. Basically, you just kind of take the sum of that, the green line, you minus it by the sum of the yellow boxes because they should not overlap. And then you kind of add back. Oh, whoops. Actually, what I do is, you subtract these yellow boxes from the corner, and then you add back this corner because you subtract it twice, right? So that's basically how you get any square of any box. And for me, for this problem now becomes, okay, so how do I get the perimeter from this, right? And if you don't understand this part, it's a little bit tricky. Look up prefix area or look up something like, I don't know, the biggest area or in a rectangle in a matrix or something like that. I forget what the Leetcode name is. Maybe someone can post a link below. But basically, this is the idea of that problem. And for me, given this, the perimeter of, say, this thing is just equal to the area of this, which we have a formula before, minus the area of the thing in between. And that's basically my idea, but as you can imagine, this had a lot of issues. For example, I didn't know how to rotate it in a good way so that I get good coordinates. So I did it in a really funky way. We'll go over my solution now, which, like I said, is really, like, I have 96 lines of code, which if you know me, I tend to write very tersely, so this was an issue. So I didn't know how to label the array during that rotation, so I actually end up doing it with breadth first search. So basically I have all this line of code just creating the labels to get the mapping from one array to another, or sorry, from XY back to this rotated grid. Do I have the? Oh, I do have this up. Let me remove this. Whoops. Actually, let me keep this up for a second. But basically, the idea for me here is that, going back to the diagonal version. Okay, I can't go back that far. But going back to this diagonal version, in this case, and maybe here as well. Going out of bounds for a second. In this case, I just basically go, okay, let's label this 0, 0 for the black ones, and 0, 0 for the white ones, and then so forth. And then here, this is 0, 1. This is 1, 1, and so forth. And this is 1, 0, and so forth, right? So basically, that's basically what I was doing. I do not recommend it, so you could look at my code, but I'm not going to go into it that deeply. Basically, I just solved this by starting from the corner, and then I do a breadth first search on it to get the labels. And then after that, I did the prefix sum on both of them. I solve it for the white squares and the black squares. I get the set, I return the set, and I return the... this is just basic stuff to get the to dedupe and get the last 3 elements. For here... For solving each one, I do what we said before, where I have, I calculate, I do some stuff with the labels that after we do the rotation, and then I create an array of those elements. You could watch me solve it live afterwards, and then I did the prefix sum area and here, and then I have this function that lets me get the area of a rectangle, and then after that I just did the rectangle. Like I said, I did the area of the rectangle, and then I minus the inner rectangle area, and that's pretty much it. And of course, I just did the 3 largest numbers, and I just put everything in an array because the number of elements were not that big, and then sort them. So yeah. So this complexity is going to be n cubed as well, just because prefix sum here is going to be n cubed, so it's going to be fast enough. But yeah, I think this is an interesting solution, even though it took me a long time to implement it versus the other one. I think I've done the other. Now that I think about it, I have done this problem before, and I think the last time I did it with the diagonals, because I did it in Code Force or ACM or something like that, Online Judge, one of those things. So maybe that's probably why everyone did it so quickly. But I, for some reason, was stuck on this solution, on wanting to write up this solution, and it took a long time to write. So yeah, that's all I have for this problem. I hope that this was a fun illustration, even though I don't think this is the recommended solution. But yeah. You could watch me sub live during the contest next. Oh, what? Say what? Really, Rhombus is just a square that's rotated, right? More like a diamond. Wow, this is a... The problems were pretty simple until now. XO sum is minimized. Both of these are kind of... I don't have an intuitive thing. What's this thing? This one got hard. It's gonna be DP, it's just a lot of weird wetness. Brute force is going to be too slow. How do you do DP? for a first search. Don't know why now. Maybe we'll come back to it. The other one looks more. Yeah, that one's pretty easy. I should have done that one much faster actually. 2 minute farm sounds right. I did in about 2 minutes. But I don't know how to do Q3. People did it pretty quickly. Let's think about it, Larry. Come on. Can't really brute force though, can you? And the biggest Rhombus don't even factor in necessarily. Four people have gotten it so far. Maxim finished, but that's not surprising. To return actual sum. Man, if I had a easy Q3, I could have finished top 10, but because Q4 was easy. But maybe that's the same way, so other people had the same issue. No, yeah. Maybe that's my pen and paper situation. So it's just did I do the square version? Maybe that's how I should thought about it. I don't know. Definitely struggling with this one. Okay, that kind of before would work. So now I just have to do the math. Okay, that's how I would do it with prefix sums. If this was a square or a rectangular thing, actually I think I know how to do it, but I still know how to do this one, but it's just very tricky. How am I doing? Focus, Larry. Well done, people. But okay. How do I do the prefix sum by diagonals? So okay, so that's just two different grids. This is so awkward. I'm like trying to rotate them in my head. But you can only find 1% of the corners, so okay. Know how to start, but I have to figure out how to implement it. How do I translate this thing? More positive numbers. Okay, so the length of the diagonal. Does it have to be a square? Nope. How do I get a new coordinate? Coordinate of a diagonal. because then this is, if we want this to be 0, 0, and this is 0, 1. Paper again. Okay. Here. Trying to figure out basically the negative. Okay. So what I'm doing makes no sense, but okay, I mean it makes sense. It's just that I'm doing it backwards. Maybe. Basically, these are. This is where, if you already had the experience, this would be great. Swap them a little bit. Drop my paper. No, this is different. Where's my left key is a little bit weird. So basically, just to get the inverse mapping of this is what I need. And how do I do the inverse mapping of this in a good way? Because I'm really bad at math. O2 is O2 is -1, 1, right? Maybe this doesn't generalize. Sampling, this is 0, 0, 1. So this is -1, 1. O2 should never come into play here. O2 is equal to 1, -1. No, O2 is equal to 1, 1. I guess that's right, actually. I just don't know how to do these diagonal coordinates. 2. Oh, 2 is equal to 1. See, there's no 2 rows in here. And am I going to the right page? I'm going to do a silly thing and do a breadth first search. Looks like I'm not going to be top 25 today though. Good job, save. Yeah, okay. I did this one really quickly, but this other problem is what's got me. Okay. The way that I'm doing it is very silly, but sometimes you have to do silly things to solve tricky problems. So let's get started. Okay. I feel like there's a mathematical way of doing this, but I spent too long trying to figure it out, so that's why I'm doing it here. So, okay. This is going to be a mess, so. The servers are fast again at least. Whoops. Okay. Now I've finally got that. Now I can do the prefix sum on each of those. What a mess. What a mess. What a mess. What a mess. Let's reindex this by the whatever. Oh, Jesus. So this is a frustrating problem that 200 people already solved, but I am a little bit slow. Anyways. Maybe I meant 24. Okay. I'm doing this in a really weird way, of course, as you know. Because I'm stuck at labeling. That'd be funny if it just ends up that I'm going to time out because of all these weirdness that I'm doing. Some, you know, but a hustle is a hustle. You gotta finish that hustle. And then now. Okay, so then now what? Now I have to map this to a square, which is ridiculous, but okay. Is that right for this one? It's 3. So 20 is the first one. Okay. And this is probably right, but this is so messy. Okay. So this is the prefix array that I want. Is it though? Why is 0 at the end? Did I mess up that something? Oh, this is the maximum number, so it should be +1. Okay. This is the array that I want. Now it's a diamond, okay. Okay, and then now I just have to do the prefix sum array. So this is kind of weirdly well, isn't it? Well, I mean, this is maybe right because this is a rectangle, or they gave us a square, but I think I'm actually wrong with this one. Yep. Okay. Now maybe we're right. This is a very long-winded way of doing it, but but yeah, now it's just, the answer is just a square in this thing. Still messy though. I could just do this. That was gonna make it impossible to debug. Okay, fine. This seems okay. And then finally, the actual problem, which is the border, which is okay. So we want a min heap. Okay. Why is this in red? That's weird. Okay. This is such a mess. Okay. Just do it all. Okay, fine. Okay, so I have to subtract a lot of screws. maybe I didn't think this through. No, I mean it's right. It's just so annoying. Okay. Let's see. This is going to be a mess. Okay, so that's the square. And now we have to read. Okay. Let's get a help. The thing is, this I worry that this is going to be too slow. But yeah, I don't know. So I see that I'm supposed to add this. Okay. Something like that. Okay. Okay. Let's just print it out. I mean, I know that. That printing out didn't help, but let's look at the last 3 elements. Oh, I always mess this up. Last 3 elements. Are these the right answers? Well, I have an extra problem, that's why. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I finally got the right answers after a lot of work. Maybe. Wait, is the second one right? 79? How did I get 79? Oh no, that's still the same one. Okay. And then the second one is 8, 9, 20, which I have here, 8, 9, 20. So finding the right answer, but I worry a little bit about performance. What is the length of this? Oh, that is also if. Memory error. That's not good though, but it was working before. Why did I get memory error now? What was I changing before? Only changed this, right? Oh, come on, don't fail me now. Oh, because my mapping is weird. So I get like 1,000,000 or whatever it is. Because I wasn't testing these things before. What? How did this happen? Oh, I see, because you can't reach all these cells. Well, that's unfortunate. Because basically what my mapping stuff is wrong. Because I don't do it. Oh. Also, I just realized I'm really dumb. I could have just done it a box at a time with a for loop and not with a queue. But maybe it's too late to fix. Maybe not. Okay. I just need to add something more to here, which is 02 negative 1 1. No, is that true? Did I mess that up? No, this is negative 1, 1, 0, 2, and then 1, 1, 2, 0. I think that should fix it, even though this is just a hack. Okay. This is good. This is only 3 7s. That was a good fix. Well, good for a very hacky solution. I have half an hour to go. Let's try the worst case. That's basically what I want to do. 100, they say. 10, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Just to make sure that I get the right dimensions. Oh, is it 50? Did I miss this? They changed the constraints. This is clearly 100. But, huh. Now I have to figure out how to do it right. Oh, that's weird that they changed the constraints midway through the problem. But, okay. Okay. The answer's also right. I'm trying to figure out whether I need to use a heap, though apparently. Okay, 50 by 50 is fine, and the timing is fine. What is the length of this ridiculously long? Why did I put in a lot of stuff? Okay. Okay, 41,000 elements. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about. Yeah. Okay. I guess we're mostly done. We just have to get rid of printing stuffs, and also what do I return? What do I return? Okay, that's good. Yes, that doesn't even return all three. So okay. Oh. Okay. I am too lazy right now. Does it have to be in order? In descending order, okay. Mm, 96, 96, 96 is probably not the right answer for number. Oh no, it is maybe, because it's this ridiculously big thing, not the example. I forgot. Okay, so that looks right, even if it's really yucky. Let's give it a submit. No whammy, no whammy. Oof. Huh, was that not the right answer? Okay, this doing sums. Okay. That's annoying. I mean, I should have checked that, but I just misread the problem in general. Because I think it's this thing rhombus, not sum, but okay. Okay, this is better. Okay, 96, 90. Okay, let's give it another go. Oh no. Well, at least it's which one can it be? Line 25. What? Oh no, why? I mean, it's really some variation of this, right? So maybe it's just this but even? Like, there are not that many possibilities for me to be really wrong to get out of range. But now this is frustrating. Frustrating that this is... That's weird. What is giving me the wrong answer? Can it be 0? No. No. What? Labels is close. Audio. It's not in the if statement, so the if statement is okay. That means the xy is wrong. Why is xy wrong? Do we update it to something weird? Is that why? Oh man, I was expecting to be done, but I don't get it. How can this be wrong? And this is a hidden case, unfortunately. Okay, let's try 100. But it's probably just something silly, but I don't know. It even works for 100, even though it's a little bit slow. Tell me why. Tell me why. I don't get it. What? The numbers don't matter, so it's just the label. So why is this stuff wrong? What am I getting wrong? What am I getting wrong? I mean, can it have an empty? Yeah, no. Okay, so that's not true. Wow. This is sad. Okay. Huh. I mean, it's auto even, so what, why, how? Come on, friends. Labels. Times columns. XY. Okay, there we go. Huh. But why? Is this number wrong? Oh, because okay. Let's choose diagonals. Okay, I know what's going on. I am silly. So if columns is 1, we don't look at. I'm curious what this is in general. I mean, it's fine. Okay, so it goes 0, 0. Oh, I guess I should do it before. 0, 1. Oh, whoops. That's just me being silly on this. Whoops. I mean, it's still gonna give me error because it doesn't do the other one, but so column 0, 0, we want to do it's fine. Everything is fine. Larry, you're being silly, but everything is fine. Let's remove this print statement before I get out the wrong answer. Okay, everything still looks good. Let's give it a submit. Longest queue. Yeah, I hope that was a good whatever. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me on Discord. Let me know what you think about this problem. And I will see you later. Good luck later. Bye-bye.